Hey, what's up, everybody? So today we're going to create a patch together on the Hydrasynth, and I want you guys to follow along if you have a Hydrasynth, so we can see if we can come upon the same. Hey guys, I want to make this interactive Hydrasynth video so we can see if we can make the exact same sounding patch. So if you have a Hydrasynth, please follow along. I just want to see if we can come across making the same exact generative patch that sounds similar, and it could be something that you can use going forward, as well as a method that you can use going forward. So I will go over every single step from start to finish, and we're going to see what we can cook up together. And yeah, hopefully this creates an interesting sound that can be used. And usually the reason why I like to make these generative sounds is because with making these patches, I find that there's so much dynamics to them that you can use these sound bits as, various, one shots or even sound effects individually. So that's my purpose for creating generative sound or synthesis, mainly because I get a bunch of sounds that I normally wouldn't have come across, or I'll come across sounds that I normally wouldn't have come across. Uh, that is via, online packs, or just just looking for sounds in general. So yeah, we're gonna try to do this together, and we'll see if this works out. So I'm gonna try to be as clear and state what I'm doing step by step, and we'll try to come to the same conclusion as it relates to the sound. All right, so I'm gonna use my iPhone audio, but I have my speakers on pretty loud. As you can see, I have the arpeggiator on. I'm gonna turn that off. So we're starting with the saw wave. This I've already pressed the knit. Actually, I'll just press the knit again. I pressed the knit twice. I just init over one of the stock sounds. So we're gonna go through this together once again, and I'm gonna take you step by step. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the mixer. We're gonna turn down oscillator 1, so nothing's coming out. So now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take envelope 3, and we're going to assign envelope 3 to oscillator 1 volume. We're gonna go to another mod matrix slot. We're gonna assign envelope 4 to oscillator 2 volume, and then we're gonna go to the third modulation matrix slot, and then we're gonna assign the envelope 5 to oscillator 3. So we're gonna turn those all the way up. So you have these three envelopes are basically triggering these three oscillators. Now I'm going to start messing around with the envelope. So envelope 3, we're gonna take down the sustain, and we're gonna just trim it down to 0. We're gonna trim all the sustains down to 0 on all three of these envelopes. Go to 0, so you should get this sound, this very choppy sound. Now I'm going to go into envelope 3, and I'm going to extend the decay to 1.53. Actually, let's do it something more even, 1.40. So envelope 3, we have increased the decay to 1.4 seconds. We're gonna go to envelope 4, and we're going to increase this to 1.4 seconds. Let's just keep it consistent so there's not a bunch of numbers. But the only difference here is on envelope 4, we're going to increase the delay by, let's do 100 milliseconds. Okay, 100 is not possible. Let's do, it's in factors of 8. So let's do 120. Let's do 120 milliseconds. Okay, maybe that's a little too soon. Let's push this to, let's do a 1.02 seconds. Cool. So then we're gonna take oscillator 4. So this is oscillator 3, oscillator 4. Next thing we're gonna do is we're not gonna do anything else. We're just gonna go to oscillator 5. We're gonna push the delay to 2 seconds. Let's just push this to 2 seconds, or the closest factor to 2 seconds. In this case, we'll do 2.04 seconds for the delay. Decay, we're gonna take that decay, and we're gonna make a decay 1.40 seconds, since that's what we did in the others. So we're gonna do 1.40 seconds. All right, so as you can see, that's oscillator 3. So you'll hear oscillator 1, oscillator 2, oscillator 3. All right, cool. So they're basically separated by 1 second each in terms of delay. Now we're going to go into oscillator 1 and start editing oscillator 1. So this is oscillator 1. So oscillator 1 right here, we're gonna just start off with that. Obviously, you know what's hitting first and what's hitting second. So with oscillator 1, we're gonna actually use a wave scan for this. What I like to do just to have fun with this. Actually, now we're gonna have to stay together with this, so I can't hit random, because if you hit random, you're gonna get something completely different. So what I'm gonna try to do is we're gonna set set the wave scan waves to something that we all can stay together with. So oscillator 1, we have wave scan selected as the option. So the wave 1 we're gonna set as a square. Wave 2 we're gonna set as we're gonna set wave 2 as a we're gonna set wave 2 as a pulse. Wave 3 we're gonna set it as silence. Wave 4 we're gonna set as a pulse. No, we're gonna set it as pulse 3. Wave 5, we're gonna set this, we're gonna scroll. I want you guys to find horizon 3. We're just doing randoms. There's no strategy with this. We're just exploring right now. Wave 6, I want you to go to sync lav 4. Maybe a sync layer. No, it looks like sync lav. Sync lav 4. Wave 7, we're gonna go all the way to Esquire 2. Wave 8, we're just going to arbitrarily set this to, and maybe I could have just done the randoms and told you what we have set so you can follow along. So maybe I'm going to do that for wave scan on oscillator 2. But for wave 8 on oscillator 1, for this wave scan setup, we're going to have spec is X1. So wave 1, we have square. Wave 2, we have pulse. Pulse 1. Wave 3, we have silence. Wave 4, we have pulse 3. Wave 5, we have horizon 3. Wave 6, we have sync lav 4. Wave 7, we have Esquire 2. Wave 8, we have spec 8-1. All right, so now let's hear how this sounds. So obviously, you're only going to really hear, you're really just hearing wave 1, I would say. You're not really like hearing, you're not really hearing it modulate through the wave scan or but we'll get to that soon. We just want to have this set up, so you can hear what these different waves within the wave scan is doing on oscillator 1. So we'll come back to that, and we'll also go back to the envelope to really hear the effects of that once we assign the envelope to, say, the wave scan, in oscillator 1. But we'll get to that. Actually, maybe you need to understand what's going on there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to mod matrix, and then I'm going to turn down. I'm gonna remember how we set envelope 5 to oscillator 3 and envelope 4 to oscillator 2. We're just gonna turn those down to 0, so we only hear oscillator 1. So that's cool. We're gonna go back to envelope 3. Remember, we're gonna go ahead, and I'm just going to assign either an envelope or an LFO to the wave scan. And I usually start out with this because you can really hear what the wave is doing or what the oscillator is doing. So just for consistency, I'm gonna assign LFO3 to oscillator 1. So LFO3 to oscillator 1, envelope 3 to oscillator 1. We're just going 3, 1, 4, 2, 5, 3. Just stay with me. So we're gonna assign LFO3 to wave scan 1. As you can see it modulated through the wave scan. So, but we can't really hear that full modulation because, one, the rate at which it's modulating, the LFO is at a rate 0.26 hertz. It was at 1.00 hertz using a sine wave. We're gonna do a sine wave and then 0.25 hertz and see how that sounds. Okay, we can hear it a little better. Let's go a little slower, 0.08 hertz. Okay, nice. Now we're gonna do something different. We're gonna use a triangle. Okay. So that's interesting. So what we're gonna actually do, we're gonna take that envelope 3, since we're only focused on envelope 3, oscillator 1, LFO 3. We're gonna take that envelope 3, and then we're going to actually assign this. We're gonna assign a trig source to, for envelope 3. We're gonna assign LFO 3 as a trig source. So as you can hear, this will be re-triggered. Well, it should be. I don't know what happened. It should have been re-triggered. Maybe it's really slow. I think it's because it's really slow. So we should hear it. There we go. So let's speed this up. I'm gonna latch that. So it's pretty cool. I kind of already see a disadvantage because I have LFO3 also associated with the wave scan. So we're gonna go back to this mod matrix. We're gonna actually edit something because we have LFO3 assigned to the oscillator 1 wave scan, and then because we also have oscillator, we also have, well, let me go to the mod matrix. So we have LFO3 associated with the wave scan of oscillator 1, but we also have the trig source, a trig source for envelope 3 assigned to LFO3. Maybe we shouldn't do that because it kind of takes away a degree of freedom. Maybe we want to have this trig source stay with LFO3 for consistency. But as it relates to wave scan, I think I'm going to actually stick with LFO1 instead of LFO3. So you go back into the mod matrix. I'm talking too much right now. And I know it's hard to follow along, but I haven't made any changes. But the change I will make right now is we're going to switch this to LFO1. And we're going to have LFO1 triggering the wave scan instead. So now that this is triggering the wave scan, this is going to go on its own. The modulation of the wave scan is going to go on its own pace, separate from the actual re-triggering of oscillator 1 through envelope 3. So there's a lot more, there's like a degree of freedom there. Like we're changing the degree of freedom in terms of the sound. So the possibilities, it's not like the wave scan is low-key synced to the trigger. So now there's already like a sort of change in parallel, and you can play with the rate. So for full transparency on that LFO to oscillator 1 wave scan action, I have a triangle wave set on the LFO, And then for the rate, I have 0.29 currently. Now, we'll get a little deeper into that after, but we're gonna go straight into the second sound because I think we've really like exhausted. We've done enough for now, at least as it relates to um, the movement of oscillator one. There's much more that we can do though, and we'll get into that after. So going into the next part, we're gonna go back to our mod matrix. We're gonna turn down envelope 3 going to oscillator 1 volume. We're gonna turn that down, and now we're gonna focus on envelope 4 going to envelope oscillator 2. Envelope 4 going to oscillator 2. So you're gonna hear that there's a little bit of a delay. That's cool. So in this case, we're dealing with something that's being triggered after oscillator 1. Imagine oscillator 1 was still being triggered, but it's not. What we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and just off the bat, we're gonna go into envelope 4. We're gonna assign another trig source to this. Envelope 4 to LFO 4, envelope 3 to LFO 3, and likely we're going to do, for envelope 5, once we get there, we're going to assign trig source 5, a trig source 5 of LFO 5 for envelope 5, just to, keep things moving. So, oh, there's nothing playing. I don't know why. Oh, you know what? So here's the thing. The problem is the rate. The rate at which LFO4 is. It's too fast. So it was not really. It wasn't triggering envelope 4 well because remember we put like a 1 second delay on envelope 4, so you have to actually slow the rate of the LFO to really get the full effect. Now, so that's one thing I'm gonna have to keep in mind if I assign a trig source. If I assign an envelope to a specific trig source, or rather, I assign a trig source to an envelope, you're gonna have to keep in mind the rate of that trig source, because that rate will determine how the envelope is triggered. And this envelope obviously controlling LFO2. So it's doing its thing. We're gonna let it rock like that. We're gonna go back into LFO4. Let's increase this attack to like 17. No, let's do 34 attack. Attack of 34. Let's extend that sustain to let's put it to 60. Let's do 60. And then let's do, for release, let's do 8.7 seconds for release. For decay, we're gonna move down to 320. Let's actually move the sustain down to 45.1. So that's for envelope 4. Envelope 4, remember, is controlling oscillator 2. We haven't done anything with oscillator 2 yet, which we probably should have worked that way first, but hey, it's okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to also do a wave scan here. So at this point, I'm going to, follow the method that I kind of usually follow, and I'll just read off to you what waves that end up, showing up there. So we're just going to do some random. All right, so this is cool. It sounds super annoying. Actually, let's do something else. All right, so for wave 1, let's do wave 1 of oscillator 2 using wave scan. We're gonna use particle 1, triangle for wave 2. So wave 1, particle 1, wave 2, triangle, wave 3, harmone 14, wave 4, harmone 22, wave 5, X for 3, wave 6, or land 6, wave 7, Melodic 1, Wave 8, Orland 5. Again, you can see them on your screen. And I'll try to show this when I'm editing. So these are going to be the wave scans, or the wave scan, or the wave points in the wave scan, whatever, in oscillator 2. So we're going to have LFO4 control oscillator 2's wave scan, or rather the wave scan piece. So we're gonna go into our, obviously you can just hold down LFO4 to oscillator 2, and that will assign LFO4 to the wave scan, and you'll hear it moving through at its own specific rate. We're gonna take this LFO4 and we're gonna assign this to a sawdown. We're gonna set the rate at 39 for now. I'm gonna put a delay at 10 milliseconds. This is all arbitrary. There's no strategy in this at this moment in time. It's pure exploration. Okay, so lastly, we're gonna go back into our mod matrix. We're gonna turn down oscillator 2, well, the envelope 4 to oscillator 2 volume assignment, and then we're gonna go to our envelope 5 to oscillator 3 volume. So we should hear it. Oh yeah, I didn't assign this to a trig source, so it's only going to trigger once. We're going to assign this to, remember our strategy, we're going to assign this to LFO5. Envelope 5, well, assigning trig source of LFO5 to envelope 5. So now you're not going to hear it. Remember why? Because the rate is too fast. So we're going to allow this to go. We're gonna assign this. It should, yeah, there we go. We're gonna speed this up just a little bit. We're gonna change the wave to. We're gonna change this wave to random. We're gonna randomize that. Let me just see something. Okay, so the thing with oscillator theory, we can't do a wave scan, so let's find something that we all like in terms of waves, in terms of what we want to really have operate as this single cycle wave. Alright, we're gonna just settle with Bellevue 2. Nah. You know what? I'm gonna just let random, I'm just gonna allow chaos to pick. So in this case, we're gonna take S square root 14. SQUROO 14. Square root 14. That's just how I read it. We're gonna turn down the semi all the way down to negative 36. Just to give it some beef. You know what I'm saying? Pause. But in addition to that, we're gonna actually take LFO3. We're gonna get creative with this. I'm gonna take LFO3 and assign it to the oscillator, and then we're gonna create some instability, I would say, assigning LFO3 to the pitch. Cool. In addition to that, we're gonna take another mod matrix. We're going to assign LFO4 to wave of oscillator 3. So there's just obviously there's just a chaotic element. So we've turned that up to 126, well, 124 or 125. LFO4 to oscillator 3 wave. And we also have LFO3 going to oscillator 3 pitch. So what happens when you put all those 3 sounds together? Let's turn up oscillator 4. Well, we go back in our mod matrix. You turn up those specific assignments. So obviously there. So you get something interesting already, but we're gonna make this even crazier. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna isolate oscillator 1 again. We're gonna turn down these envelope to oscillator volume, or envelope to mixer, envelope to mixer oscillator volume assignments, and we're only gonna focus on oscillator 1. So coming back to this, it's kind of vanilla, I would say. So we're gonna play around a little bit more with this. And what I will say is we're gonna turn down the semitones down, all the way down. We're gonna turn down the sense to -32. So we get in the 432 range. I don't know. It's a little, I don't know. In addition to that, we're gonna take LFO5. We're gonna just arbitrarily assign it to the semi. Actually, no, we're just gonna assign. No. So we're gonna assign LFO5 to the pitch here, so we can see some more wackiness happening. I'm just gonna latch that. Going to mute in 1. Turn up the dry wet. Let's see what it does. Just toggle through. So I think I found it. We're gonna go with the harmonic mode. Turn up the depth to like 80. Dry wet 100. Then we're gonna assign LFO1 to ratio. Let's go to LFO1. Let's actually make this a little bit more random. Let's actually turn down that's actually pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. It's a bit much. went back to LFO1. Noise is always cool. Let's do saw up. Yeah, we're gonna work with saw up for now. Turn up the rate to 0.19 hertz. Yeah, I've never actually done this type of sound, so this is pretty new to me. Oh my goodness. Yo, this knocks out my speaker. Turn down that dry wet to like 67%. Man, this is giving me foot pain. I'm not gonna lie. This shit feel crazy. This might be a weapon right here. All right, so we're gonna go into the next part. We're gonna turn up. We're gonna go to our second mutant. So now I selected PW squeeze, ratio 26.25. A depth of 81. Dry wet of 94. Feedback of 33. I'm gonna turn down this dry wet to 60. It sounds like flatulence, honestly. Alright, so man, this is out of control. Actually, before we get into other sounds, as you know, envelope 3 has a trig source of LFO3. So we're going to assign some irregularity to LFO3. So we're gonna have envelope 2 control LFO3, the rate. Okay, I completely lost y'all. What I did was I assigned envelope 2. I assigned envelope 2 to LFO3, which is a trig source for envelope 3. The reason why I assigned this envelope to LFO3's rate is to make it a little bit more, or a little less, or more irregular. Oh my goodness, this is pretty crazy. I've never made nothing like this. So this is just oscillator 1, just reminding you. I'm just messing around with the ratio of a mutant 1. We're gonna have LFO3 control the rate of LFO1. Why? Because LFO3 is a source of irregularity at this moment in time, because it's being controlled by envelope 2, which we assign this super weird envelope shape. The envelope shape in envelope 2 was 6.14 attack, decay, 7.768 milliseconds, decay of 29.1. Let's decrease that to 18.5. We could even do a trig source on that too, but I'm not gonna even go there. It's really just, this is getting too. We're gonna change LFO1. I'm gonna play around with LFO1. LFO1 is obviously tied to the ratio of mutant 1. LFO1 is also controlling the wave scan of oscillator 1. Okay, so I see the need for oscillator 1 to remain kind of slow. Just gotta keep in mind, like, you know, it's very noisy. Alright, I think this is a lot harder than I thought it would be. You know, I'm just gonna... we're gonna go back to our mod matrix. We're gonna turn everything back up. It's hard to really, like... We're gonna go to oscillator 2. Let's turn down... Good goodness. Yeah, I can't really explain this. I failed, y'all. This is like hard to really explain.